Hello again, everybody. I'm going to try and ignore OBS being silly and do some more streaming. Let's show where I'm at right now. I've finally got this thing pretty close to where I want it. Just turn all the different parts on. So I've got all the bits and pieces. I've stripped it back a bit. I'll just turn the parts off. I've got it stripped down a little bit for export purposes. You know, I only need to export one of these sections, so this goes all the way around the outside and then will open up when I animate it. Most people probably haven't seen the inside yet, so that's the inside with all the lenses, and so these will be, there'll be transparency and stuff here. Oh, this section, where's the service panels? Why are they not showing? You're on. I wonder why they're not visible. That's probably something strange going on. Oh, okay. I wonder how that got turned on. All right, so anyway, yeah, you've got these service panels. And then the upper section, the halo, which I'm still not 100% sure what I'm doing with. But if we get rid of all that for the moment, we also have the parts, so the capsules that go into those leaves. These are the capsules that go into those leaves, and these have a section that will animate as well. It's like an injector. So again, this will be sort of separately exported, and I'll probably even break this up into a few parts before I export it, and that'll make it easier to work with in Maya. And then I'll put all the materials and stuff on it, and then I'll replicate it into the right spots. Then there's these little lights which I've got in various places on the thing, and again I will probably break this into a couple of sections, at least break out this middle section to a separate piece so it's easier to put an emissive material on there. And then we've got the power pylons, which are quite complicated. If I open all the... So this is the hierarchy for just the power pylons. I'm not going to open up all the leaves, but these are these bits here, which again telescope out. Get the hinges themselves, these little bits here, and all the hoses and the intake sections for the hose. So that's all this little bit down here, and there's all this stuff here. And yeah, so pylon's quite complex because it has this whole section telescopes up, and then these can sort of does a linear movement, and then these sort of telescope out, or will in the animation anyway. And then down here, I won't actually be using this in the animation, but these clamps can move as well, so I've left those all hinged. And that's one of the things when we export from plasticity, it won't keep any of the pivots, or you're not even setting up pivots in plasticity, so that's something for all the animation I have to set up the pivots. So the idea is that these pylons sit on top of this thing, and theoretically, like, this can, go with gas and all that sort of nonsense. And anyway, there'll be sound effects. I think I might. Oh, pardon me. I've got a friend who does that kind of thing. I might contact him and see if we do a bit of a collab, and he can get something else in his folio as well, with doing sound effects and some music for me, because he's usually pretty keen. So what I'm going to do today is, I realised when I finished this, I say finished in inverted commas, when I finished this the other day, I realised that I had not given it any kind of thrusters or anything like that. So it definitely needs some think it's ECS, but basically positional thrusters, so that it can, aim itself and stay in orbit and all that kind of stuff that you want to do when you're stuck up in space. So what I'm going to do is finally use these side gantries, which I keep saying I'll do something with. I'm going to attach the ECS thrusters to these, and I think I will do probably some on the corners, and maybe some on this face. I'm going to start with ones on the face because we'll just make a set of thrusters and replicate it. And then I will probably put some sort of, I think, control unit on this side, and the thrusters will have hoses connecting that, and then I think we'll maybe put some connectors on here, on this face here, if it'll let me select it. Some of these things I've got set to not let me select them. That one's not one of them though. Oh, it's because of my selection mode. So on this face, I think I'll put some hose connectors, and then maybe we'll do one of those, how you often see in sci-fi and stuff, like cool harnesses of like arced cables. I think we'll maybe have a go at doing one of those. So again, like most things on here, you've missed the interesting bits. These were the most the most difficult bit was probably doing these individual sections, getting this, lofting this and patching this. It's still doing that thing. Lofting this and patching this was a nightmare to get these to fit in, so that the main leaves would fit nicely in there and be able to rotate. Very nice hollow. Ooh, it's all fake. Alright, so I'm going to... Actually, I think we'll start this way. Grab that, and we'll make a plane out of that. I think a working plane. I'm doing a lot of roundish shapes in this thing, so we'll keep doing roundish shapes. Something like that, I think. Maybe a bit big. I should just sort of keep in mind that if I'm going to move them around and have hoses going through, that I have to make sure that the hoses can actually fit through the grid. So I can't do this too small or too large. So yeah, I think something like that. And then I haven't done, other than those little bits I just showed you, I haven't done a lot of lofting or patching sort of stuff. I guess I've done quite a bit of patching, but it's mostly been straight. And I'm probably not going to do much because this doesn't seem to really need it. But I'm going to do a revolve. I think I'm going to revolve this. I'm just going to move that out, and I'll get rid of that plane. Now, it can be a bit hard getting these from the side to get it to actually connect, but I'll give it a go. Something like that. Do I want to lump on top? No, I think I might come back in later and do a little one of those. And you can see how it's like here I'm off center, as I suspected I would be. Not that it matters because I'm actually using this circle. I just sort of wanted it as a size reference. Alright, something like... Actually, I am going to use it because I'll use it as a center for the revolve I'm about to do. So, select the whole thing. Don't want to bevel any of that before I revolve it. I might just do a little... might just do a little one there. And then match these two. Something like that, because I don't really want to make this curved, but it's always nice to have a little bit of bevel in there just to make it look more real. Alright, so we're going to grab that. We're going to hit revolve, which is a bit of a weird command sometimes. Sometimes it works easily, and sometimes you're like, what am I doing? Alright, that worked alright. So that gives us our basic object, and I don't know if I like that, to be honest. I do want something a bit squarer than that. It's one of these things I kind of like it, I kind of don't like it. I know what I want. I think I might be able to largely scale this. I just a quick clean up there to get rid of that extra line. I'm just turn X-ray off because it's got to the point of being annoying. So turn X-ray on and off all the time. I really need to set up a key for it because I find myself turning it on and off all the time lately. Sometimes it's super useful and sometimes it's just so annoying. Weird cowboy hat now. All right. So what I'm thinking, I don't know why it's got that weird dot in the middle. I guess I just didn't have went too far, or it was too peaked in the middle. It's all right. I'm gonna mess with that anyway. All right. Oh, it's gone. Why are we on a weird angle now? Was that from my revolve? That must have been from my revolve. All right. We will go back because must have been because that was on an angle. Let's have a look. F, revolve. Select the center. Oh yeah, so that is putting it on an angle. I wonder why that is. I wish the revolve just easily had a. See, if I hit X, it doesn't do what I would expect a revolve to do. If I hit Y, hit Z. Like, that's what I would expect a revolve to do, but it's not on the axis that I want. Like I would like the default revolve. If I'm saying be a radial revolve, just like please do a radial revolve on the axis that I've asked you to do it on. But it doesn't do that, so feature request one day, I guess. This is going to be a bit of a pain because it doesn't have a bottom. Let's give it a bottom. And hope that the bottom has a center. It does good. Love to see it. Alright. And we don't have a weird pointiness anymore, I don't think. See if it'll clean up like the other one did. Well, it's been weird. No, that was my fault. Alright, yeah, and it doesn't have that weird dimple this time because it's not an angle. That's odd. Anyway, I could get confused all day. Alright, let us stretch this baby out. Thin it down, maybe something like that. I'm not liking this at all, honestly. Not liking that at all. I know what I want in my head. Alright. Let's go custom plane. Something like about that big. Move it out. I'm going to kill my. Oh, I've already killed my custom plane. Good. It's weird. Sometimes they hang around even when you rotate, which is actually awesome that they do that. And sometimes they don't. So I'm going to do something like this. Do I want the base to be fully round? Let's say no. Hit shift there just to get a line. That's maybe too narrow. Something like that. And then I'll just do a lazy little mirror there. And maybe a little bit of that round continue to exist. Little lazy mirror. Yeah, that might be interesting. It's going to either be interesting or horrible. I mean, I might as well just bevel it, bevel the edges there. I haven't really done anything interesting, have I? Not sure what we're going to do here, other than get rid of all these curves. Definitely want to narrow these sides down a bit. How far is it going to let me go with that round? That's kind of more what I wanted in the first place, so that's good, at least. Hopefully it'll let me round these corners in a bit as well. I should stay on this view so I can actually see. It's like a weird dinner plate. Yeah, definitely. That's actually kind of interesting. See, having the thrusters out these ways, but it's not really. Oh, or is it what I want to do? No, I probably want to have them in more standard quadrants. Probably more readable. Grab that whole thing, and I might chamfer it in. Then I think I'll grab this and extrude it a little. Do a gentle offset there. Push this in a bit. I think we'll put a couple of like gas canister looking things in here. And I think that'll give us a nice kind of thruster look. And now all of our, I probably don't have any in this bit. Let's show something. Enough the pylon stick out. What's got doodly doos on it? Something's got doodly doos on it. Does anything in the emitter array have doodly doos? It has different doodly doos. I picked that up from someone I worked with a while ago. Just now I say doodly doos, apparently. Anyway, there's a shape. This is me getting distracted again. There's a shape that I've used a ton of times in this project, so I'm just going to keep going with that sort of design for all of the kind of openings. These ones will just be bigger and probably put some venting in them. That one might be a little big, but we can always scale it later. Don't want the actual emitter to be too small, and I might make these ones flat. The other ones have all been pretty curvy. Something like that. And then we'll just telescope these out. So that's the basic length of our thruster. And then this is our sort of where the middle curve goes. And this is the little cut in at the end, which I might make a fair bit longer than I have on the other versions of this. I hope it's a bit more conical. So I'll grab all these and loft them and see what we get. It's not bad, but do I want to flare it like a... I guess it's flared on the inside. Let's just hide these curves for the second so I can see it better. You're not going to let me just offset this curve? Oh, you are going to let me, just taking a while to do it. It's not really conical, is it? Right, go back to here. Make this baby smaller. Now, I'm not sure how well the loft will cope if I just stick this at the back. Let's find out. I'm still very much learning what I'm doing here. Oh yeah, that worked. I think I want to make this wall a bit thicker here. Or maybe I should just flatten it out with some... Nah, I don't want to flatten it out, it'll look ugly. So just duplicate that one. Push it out a little bit. And push it back a tiny bit. Just so there's a clear hierarchy. Look how fat it got. This looks more like the other ones. It's a bit ridiculous. It's like it's an earpod now. Fly in the earpod. Open that one up a bit. I guess what's happening is it's trying to line these two up, and so that's why it's doing that giant curve. That's better. I mean, it's still gigantic. I wonder what would happen if I put this on this side of the curve. Then that one. Then that one. That's better. It's huge, but that's alright. Alright, get rid of all that. And this is definitely too big. And then what I can do is patch this hole, and if you use a G1 or a G2, it'll curve it out like that. Usually I've been using just a G1. You can see that goes all the way back, which, I don't know about that. It's further than I would like it to go, honestly. Can I... Oh, it's going to shrink the whole thing. I wonder what that looks like from the other side. Is that cool? It's not super cool, but do a bit of this. That's interesting. It's definitely more interesting than just having a straight curve. Like, it looks like something's actually going on in there. In fact, let's do a bit of a... This might not... Yeah, there's nothing to snap to. Something I don't like about doing that particular little technique is that you don't get a snap point. But since we're smart, we build in the middle. We can always go down, find the center line, and line it up a bit. I mean, we're not doing literal rocket science, so it doesn't have to be perfect. somewhere in there. Grab you, duplicate. I'll set somewhere like there. Make a little ring like that. Get rid of all these curves. Select the edges of that, and we'll just let me in. I want to see my thing, and I don't want to have to hide. Okay. Oh, it is curved. Good. I don't know why I'd just be lazy. I didn't want to have to hide this outside. Oh yeah, yeah. And this is where I want X-ray mode back. Although again, there's not much to see in here because it's all lofted. Yeah, let's see if that works. Actually, this might not work because I'm gonna ball into a sheet, so might not like me. Yeah. So we'll just quickly solidify this object. Patch on the back. No, can't have a patch on the back. Why? Face exhibited face inconsistency has been produced. I don't know what that means, but I suspect it means that little nose is pointing out. Since that worked, I'm pretty sure it's because that little nose was pointing out. All right. Grab you and you. Do our ball now. No, you still don't like our ball? You sure? It's a great ball. You're not complaining about it, so why are you doing it? I guess it just didn't like me right-clicking out over here. You just can't really tell what's going on there. Though with some ambient occlusion, it would make that more obvious. All right, let's think about venting this thing, hey? Or venting it or putting the back on, one or the other. Something like that. Now we just cut the front off. Pull that out. Grab that face. That face. Delete both of those. Just snap that on there. We should be able to join those. No, no coincident edges. I think you might be kidding yourself there, buddy. pretty sure those edges are coincident. Although it doesn't look particularly great up there, does it? Not enough coincident edges, perhaps. All right. We'll do this the other way then, instead of getting rid of those. Let's see, how close is it here? So it is still off a little bit. It's a pain, isn't it? Option C. I hate when it does that. It's where it doesn't, you try and make a face and it just basically makes an arbitrary place. So is that a proper circle? I mean, it looks accurate to me. Will this be kind, or will it cut on a weird angle? Or not cut at all? Okay. That's just display imperfection, I'm pretty sure. I think these will line up just fine, I think. It's always hard to know, particularly because we don't have an ability to go into a higher resolution display mode even when we're zoomed in. I'm in the highest resolution it will let you. There's only 2 options, or sort of 3 options. And sometimes I wish I weren't, because my system's not that amazing. But I do wish there was a way, particularly when you zoom in, if you could scale up the accuracy. But you can see there, even though it didn't look like it was going to line up exactly, that it did, because mathematically it was lined up. You just visually couldn't tell. That's one of the things you need to get used to, is sort of guessing or learning when things look right. I'm wondering about decorating these things. Am I going to decorate these things? You know what I might do instead of putting venting? Well, venting per se. What if we like fluted the inside? That could be kind of cool, and would fit with the theme. Alright, I think I'm far enough along now that I can probably get rid of all of that crap in the background. Just get rid of that visual noise. It's starting to get to me. Something like that. Maybe. Do I want it to flute more toward the back? Probably. Don't want these to be a straight line though, so... Oh, fuck you. How'd I do there? More. I wish X-ray just kind of let me see through. I know you can do transparency in plasticity, but I don't really want to. More, I can't be bothered. So it would be nice if there was a way to just have the X-ray have like more like a 3D modeling program sort of X-ray where you just kind of automatically get a 50% transparency or whatever. So yeah, I think that's kind of what I want. Bevel that up a bit. Bevel the bottom edges. That one. Yeah, something like that. And then if we cut these out and then maybe fill those edges too. So do a radial array. I think I want more than that. It's going to leave pretty thin slices, but I'm curious. Cute. Let it resolve. Don't like this bit at the back. I think just... It's interesting, but it's too much. It's definitely too much. Try going a bit more subdued. I just don't feel like this is going to be enough, but we'll give it a try, see how it looks. Yeah, it doesn't do it for me either. But I wonder if I grab these edges, assuming it even lets me do a bevel. And I know there's a difference between fillets and bevels and all that, but in Maya you just do a bevel and then tell it whether you want it to be round or not, basically. Let's say, oh, I'm going to sneeze. Yeah, it's kind of gross, I think. See all those horrible lines. I don't really want to see all those horrible lines. It doesn't seem to want to go the other way at all. So, next option. Now, it's almost certainly not going to let me just scale this edge, but sometimes it does things that you don't expect. Theoretically, you should be able to use the what's called draft face to do pivoty stuff, but I find doing it in the way that I think should work. See, I think if I select that one and then hit draft face and then select that one, I feel like this one should get wider, but it doesn't. So I don't think draft face is going to help me here unless I make another object. So that just does basically same angle, which is why I think doing it on the bottom should work. But again, does not. And then I think that if I try and do this, go from the top, if I make a little box, I really should just make a working plane up here and never never change it. No, it's way over there. No, where have you gone? Oh, it's gone back to the bottom. Try this. I don't think draft face works across objects, but I don't know, so let's find out. I guess it does. Whoa! That's definitely not what I want. So I have no idea how to taper this the way I want to. Try this one, draft. See how sometimes it doesn't seem to really matter which face you've selected. I wonder what would happen if I select the bottom face on this side. And maybe I'm just doing this completely wrong. No. Whoa. Let's see if any of these other options do something different and interesting. No. Yeah, anyway, I don't know how to do this, and I feel like it should be easy, and maybe there is a way to do it. There probably is. There's probably something super simple, and I just don't know how, other than redrawing the whole face or redrawing the whole object with a more angled curve. Because none of the offsets or anything will do it. Like extruding, it's not going to do anything. So it basically is, as far as I know, redrawing the face, or redrawing the object, which again, don't really want to do, but I'm not going to get anywhere if I don't. So, not knowing any other way to fix that, I guess we're redrawing the object. Are you really in the center? I don't know if I believe you. So what I'm thinking is just, drawing out like this so that it has a shape. Just gonna freeform rotate that. Do a join. Something like that. Embed that a little bit, and then what I'll do is I'll rotate it, but I'll move my pivot point back here so that we can just do that, which is obviously too short. Whee! Yeah, something like that. So my hay fever's just kicked in apparently. I'll just move that up a bit because the scale's down as well as up. I don't want it that far into the rim. And probably too far back as well. I don't think I want it to start anywhere near that far back. So let's see if we can get that center point at the back. Oh, that's not what I wanted. I want to rotate. See, now I've lost my pivot point, which is, this is one of the biggest things that I hope gets changed, is keeping pivot points at least while you've got something still selected. You're still working on it, like until you tell it to go away. I'm just going to shrink this down because it's going to be ridiculous when I when I rotate these. F radial. I don't know why I keep typing these things. I've actually got radial on my favorites. That's obviously grabbed a center point that I didn't expect. I've actually got, I think, is it this one? No, one of these. That one. Because some of them have words, and some of them have got little doodads. So we want to just start there maybe and see where we get from there. Cute. Yeah, that's better. It's definitely better. So angling that is definitely the pro strat. Super chunky. So maybe what I should do is just make it way wider, which isn't the ideal solution. Like ultimately that's going to cause issues as well. It would be better to reshape like that. It would be better to reshape the whole thing. Though I could probably go a bit further up a bit. The reason that happens, I'll show you. Oh, well, okay, that time it worked, so I don't know the reason it happens because it didn't happen that second time. Forget me. Grab. Oh, don't need to grab you. I need to grab you. F radial. Probably select the center. It's a good start. Close. But still not what I want. Still doesn't have that sex appeal that I need. No. Oi, what are you doing now? Just behave. No, I didn't. I didn't say do some other thing. I don't think this one's going to be much better. I know what I want. I'm in the region. I know it's. I know why. Well, I don't know if I can fix it, but I know it's way too deep. It's way too deep. That's the. It's probably going to be far too subtle, but there's no point doing the same thing over and over again. Be like, why isn't it working? That's definitely better. Definitely better. So I think the problem really is that when I made this cone, the cone itself is too bulgy. Um, and just doing this, I'm never going to get what I really want. So I think I might just leave it at that. I think it's still kind of cool. Like, it's better than just a flat cone, isn't it? I think if I grab one of these fellas. Something like that. Duplicate. Actually, I don't need to duplicate. I often forget you can just do that. That's pretty cool. Bevel this out. Yeah, I like that. I like it. Oh, I've upset it. Oh, I cannot read that. So I sort of do a tiny bit. Oh, so it's only going to let me do like the tiniest little. Interesting, it hasn't picked. I expected it would pick those edges, but it doesn't look like it has. Okay, so let me G2 it. Yeah, it's interesting. I think that is probably so subtle. It's so barely noticeable. What happens if I try and select this? So you can select these edges. I don't want to manually do that. It still doesn't even make it nice. It's almost like it's just displacing the normals rather than. It does look a little bit better though, doesn't it? It's almost like it's just displacing the normals, not actually changing anything. Although that might be display as well. I really don't want to do this. But sucks to be me, eh? Nearly done. No, not the black screen error. Oh, you son of a bitch. That is the one. That is so rude. That is so rude. Oh, well. Oh, well. Control Alt Delete it is. If it takes this long, it means that it's not coming back. Even Control Alt Deletes take it as good old time. At least for the most part, though it's going to kill that bevel, at least for the most part, plasticity is pretty good at auto-saving and stuff. Not so good at remembering where the window was. Alright, well, I'm not selecting all those edges again, so it sucks to be this thing. And this is how long it takes me to do stuff, because I mean, obviously I'm pretty chill, so I'm not rushing my way to get stuff done. Jeez, it's been nearly an hour, I've done almost nothing. So the idea is going to be then that we'll, actually before I move this, I will duplicate it just in case. And we'll move a copy. So what I want to do, I'll at least rapid prototype a bit more of what I want to get done. And then I might end the stream because now is plenty for me. So something like this still may be a little big, or I'll put some sort of, I think what I might do, seeing that in place, because I actually don't think it's too big scale wise. I think actually I could just make the base bigger, couldn't I? I mean, that's always an option, right? But what I might do is something like make a structure on the outside very roughly like this. If I do something very roughly like that, make some sort of like holder for them. So maybe something like that, and obviously cut out an indent and stuff to make it look a bit more sexy. But yeah, maybe something like that to make it look like they're actually connected somehow. And then I want to put in, as I said at the start, this is one of the good things about plasticity, is that you can sort of rapidly prototype like this. I tend to like to sort of build things how I want them as I go. So I'm not quite, so I sort of don't work this fast normally, but you can. And I certainly have before, just to sort of see what might look good. But I'm thinking something like that. Probably a bit thinner even. And then put hoses that go inside to make them all look sort of more connected. Maybe put a bit of greebles and stuff. And then on the back, put another one of the, not a thruster, um, basically put some sort of connector on the back where the hose from this unit will come out, and I'll obviously make the back a bit more decorative as well. And then if I turn the blah 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 core back on, and then this whole unit would go somewhere that sort of little nozzle at the back sort of sticks through the thing. Maybe even we have 5, because there'll be 4 engines on, or 4 thrusters on each of these. Maybe we have 4 of these, or a cable that's made out of 4 parts, or whatever it is, and then that will connect up to there, and then we'll mirror it across the other side, obviously. But yeah, that's what I think I'm going to do. That took a bit longer than I thought, but again, I like to sort of make what I'm making as I go, not just rough it out and do something fast, because obviously like that you can very quickly throw stuff together if you want to rapid prototype. But I'm not rapid prototyping. I'm building final asset essentially, as I go, as I like to do. If anyone's watched this again, great. If you haven't, fantastic. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to submit ideas or whatever. I may, I think, do another little project before this one's finished. I've got something I want to make in mind that I think I will basically do as a rapid prototyping stream. But other than that, I'll see you next time, and have a good day.